Welcome back to the video on the rest of the way and to SummerSlam out of 10. We had a long night of wrestling and what a show it was. So many great matches on there. Can't wait to get into it. We had a ridiculously long 3-hour pre-show to kick things off. But ignoring that, Jelly Roll kicked us off singing God Bless America before we went into our first match, Rhea Ripley against Liv Morgan, but not before our second song from Jelly Roll. Dominic Mysterio accompanied Mammy as usual. Morgan rolled out of the ring to play some mind games, but the Eradicator gave chase. The champion smiled at Ripley, looked frustrated at not being able to catch her. She finally faked Morgan out and got her hands on her. Dom cheered as Mummy hit a series of clotheslines followed by a suplex. Ripley sold an injured shoulder as it was dislocated so she could pop it in eventually. Morgan began focusing on the injury. Dom sacrificed himself to save Ripley from a suicide dive, but seeing her upset him more. She popped her shoulder back in and went after the champ, with the exception of the dislocated shoulder being a bit cheesy. Most of this bout was entertaining. We saw a lot of storytelling as they were taking their time and making each move count, trying to go at 100 miles an hour. Dom stopped Ripley using a chair, reminding her she couldn't win that way. Morgan used distractions, hit Oblivion for a close 2 count. Dom distracted the ref and Morgan ended up hitting the Oblivion on the chair to get the win. Dom smiled knowing his evil plan would work. A lot of this was overbooked and over dramatic, but this was done in a way that was such easy to have fun with. Ripley looked like she wants to kill Dom as he kissed Morgan, so Raw should be very interesting on Monday. This gets an 8 out of 10 for me. This is a brilliant way to start Raw. So many fun spots on there. On the whole, that finally happened, a turn. I think they did it in a really nice way as well. Great stuff on the whole, 8 out of 10. Next up, we got Sami Zayn against Braun Breaker for the IC title. Braun made his entrance first to challenge Zayn for the IC title for the second period in a row. The champ received a warm welcome from the crowd in Cleveland. Zayn avoided the charging Breaker to send him into the ring post immediately. A moment later, the challenger avoided a lever kick and began to take control. This was a back and forth right from the start that saw both competitors pull out the most of their tricks in their arsenals. They knew each survived some of the other's biggest moves, but 2 spears in a row, 1 Breaker the title. This wasn't a long title match, but it didn't need to be. Zayn looked like a strong champion, but the story told is that Breaker learned from his previous loss and had Zayn's number. This may have fallen short of their first match, but it made the new champ look badass. I'm not complaining. Gets 7 out of 10 from me. Great match, great result for Breaker. Looking forward to seeing what he can do with the belt. But moving on into Logan Paul against LA Knight. Rampage MGK accompanied Logan Paul to the ring for his US title match against LA Knight. The champion arrived in a truck he stole from Paul on Friday's SmackDown. They started fighting before the bell and ended up at ringside. Paul spat some prime in Knight's face. The Megastar responded by hitting him with a bottle and then a TKO on the announce table. The match finally got started when Knight in control. The social media star eventually turned things around with a decent gut-wrench suplex. As usual, Paul brass knuckles, but it wasn't enough. The champ slingshotted himself right into a BFT to give Knight the win. And gets 7 out of 10 for me. I think it's a match that kind of leverage. You have to remember how new Logan Paul is and still puts out these great matches, but I think it's the right time to give LA Knight the title, and can't wait for his era. Before it's time for Bayley versus Nia Jax for the women's title, and both of them came out alone, but we knew Tiffany Stratton would be playing some role. Bayley managed to take control right away against Nia, but the powerhouse immediately turned the tables with a Samoan drop. The belt had a steady pace, but they slowed down when it was time to sell the big points. They included some callbacks into their previous matches from the past decade. After the Queen of the Ring caught Bayley during a suicide dive and hit a Samoan drop, it felt like an eventual win for a foregone conclusion until the role model somehow hit a powerbomb. Stratton ran down with her briefcase but was knocked over the apron by Bayley. Jax used the opportunity to hit 2 powerbombs and 2 igniters for the pin and the win. There's a while at the end where I was just waiting for the cash-in to happen, but in the end it never came. We're going to time that storyline for a while, which is for me the right thing as well. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10 on the whole. I thought it was a really decent match. Maybe not quite as strong as some of the others on the card, but I thought it was still pretty solid. Nia Jax, I think her reign is deserved the belt, and I'm looking forward to seeing with it. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. Moving on into Punk against McIntyre. Seth Rollins came out in his usual high fashion get-up to serve as a ref for this match. McIntyre stared daggers at Punk as he made his entrance. Rollins gave both men instructions before calling for the bell. The crowd was going wild as they started trading hands, giving this a big fight feel. They weren't trying to have technical contests, they were trying to hurt each other. They threw and swung each other into anything that looked like it would cause pain. McIntyre brought a chair into the ring, but Rollins prevented him from using it. Punk rebounded and began building momentum. When Punk saw Rollins had picked up his bracelet that McIntyre dropped, he got angry. They traded some harsh words, and the best of the world ended hitting him with the GTS. McIntyre hit Punk with a low blow while Rollins was down and pinned him with a Claymore once the Visionary recovered. The Scot posed with the bracelet before leaving as a happy man. This was another match that was more about the story than the individual moves. Nobody would call this a clinic, but it was highly enjoyable, and I thought the story they told was great. They added Rollins, Seth Rollins here, I thought tied in really nicely, and for a first match in what you presume would be a series, I thought on the whole it was great. So yeah, I like the obsession over the bracelet as well. I thought that tied in nicely into the story. So yeah, great stuff, 8 out of 10. Damian Priest then challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Priest had a brief backstage segment with Balor before we saw Gunther make his entrance. The ring handrail charged the champion, ran right into a forearm. The Archer of Infamy kept the upper hand until his opponent suplexed him onto the apron. Priest used his kickboxing skills to dish out more damage than Gunther had taken in some time, but the Austrian held his own. Balor tried to cheer on his Judgment Day teammate. Seeing Gunther kick him in the face helped Priest rally him and hit his finisher, but Balor put the ring handrail leg on the rope. Priest had no idea how to until seeing a replay on the monitor. Gunther replied to sleeper and Balor watched as Priest fought back. He was too distracted by the Irishman and passed out, giving Gunther the win. This ended up being one of the best matches on the night. It made both contestants look great. Gunther with the title was going to be great, and Balor turning on him. I didn't think it'd happen here, but I knew it's coming down the line. But I think, yeah, Balor looked great as a heel. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do in the role that both will play. So yeah, on the whole, this was great. 8 out of 10. Before Solo Sikoa came out alone for his Bloodline Rules match against Cody Rhodes, Rhodes' loyal dog Pharaoh accompanied him from his bus. Arn Anderson gave him a pep talk before he made his way out with a special skull mask that resembled his tattoo. They seemed a relatively simple exchange, especially for a match with fewer rules than usual. It wasn't until Rhodes hit a suicide dive that business started to pick up. They tried to sell each move individually, but it led to a slower pace expected for a long time. Everyone looked good in this, even if it felt like they should be doing more. Once the Bloodline interfered, Randy and Kevin Owens started up even odds the odds. They chased away Tama Tonga and lower, but that Jacob Fatu saved Sikoa from the third crossroads. The American Nightmare kicked out after being put through an announce table. Out of nowhere, Roman Reigns' music generated a massive pop inside the stadium. He walked ring calmly, took out Sikoa with a Superman punch and a spear. Rhodes and Reigns traded a look before the champ hit the crossroads for the win. This wasn't exactly what everyone expects it to be, but sometimes it's the obvious call that is the right one. So yeah, on the whole, it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. That pop for Roman, I think, really made this. On the whole, it's a fun match, but I think the pop for Roman as the sight at the end is really what made this, and I'm so intrigued to see what happens going forward. The big dog is back at last. Overall, SummerSlam gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent show on the whole. Some really great matches on there. The surprise pop of Roman, I thought, yeah, it was a strong pay-per-view, and I think so many questions as well coming out of this show, which is definitely going to be intriguing to answer on the coming editions of Raw. So yeah, on the whole, great stuff, 8 out of 10. So that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.